Hi guys, my name is Val in case you didn't know, and I'm the Happy Lifter. And this week, the reason why I haven't been around much on social media is because I had the stomach flu. I've been really sick lately. So that's why on Friday there was no recipe. In case you've been following me on Instagram or Facebook, there wasn't much action going on because since Wednesday, I've been out of commission. So now I'm back, and if you only follow my YouTube channel, you wouldn't even notice. But as promised, this week I'm doing a comparison between my old lifting shoes and my new lifting shoes. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a little bit of a mishmash of my own experiences and what I've been told, because I haven't had my new lifting shoes for long. As I told you in my last vlog that I will link somewhere up here, I recently bought new lifting shoes, but I haven't had a lot of time to try them because I've been sick. But first, before I start doing the comparison, I want to tell you why I got new lifting shoes, because I've had my lifters for a little while. They're my second pair, and they are these pretty sexy Reebok lifters that I really love. I love this color, and I love these shoes. But they've been getting pretty beat up lately. I don't know if you can tell, the glue is coming off. I am hard on my lifters. I am a hard lifter. I make a lot of noise with my feet, and I go for it. And so I've been beating these up by, lifting a few times a week, and I've had them for maybe 2 years. And just recently though, because they could have lasted me a little bit longer, but recently I got a few shakers off of my dad, protein shakers, and I guess he was getting rid of some because they were poorly made. So one of them was sitting in my bag, that was a weird motion. One of them was sitting in my bag and in the car, and all of a sudden I hear a pop. And so the lid just kind of popped open, and then my shaker just decided to empty itself in this shoe. This particular shoe. Not both shoes, this one shoe. So I picked it up when I could, but I was driving. So there was a lot of grossness inside. It was like kind of waterproof, so it all just kind of sat there, but then it started soaking it up, which is completely disgusting. And I'm really lucky though that I drink vegan protein, because otherwise I couldn't even hold this close to my face. It would be so stinky. It is very stinky because A, my feet are pretty stinky, but also B, because the smell never went away even though I washed them. There's something about these shoes that I don't want to wear them anymore. So a friend of mine, Claire, I mentioned her in my last vlog, she ordered some really nice Nike lifters online, and they didn't fit her. They were too big. So I tried them, and they're actually pretty much the same size as these, but they're technically half a size bigger. So whatever, they're mine now. So on to the comparison. I want to say, first of all, that as I mentioned, these shoes are my first lifting shoes. They are a hybrid lifter that you would call, because Reebok is not necessarily a company that makes lifting shoes, but they do, sponsor the CrossFit Games. They do a lot of stuff for CrossFit, so CrossFitters decided they needed a lifting shoe, which is, smart thing. So they made these shoes that are a little more flexible for CrossFitters to wear, and they're very good for that purpose. They're a hybrid shoe. You can do WODs with them. They're a very good first lifting shoe, I think. Now on the other end of the spectrum, these Nike lifters are for weightlifting. People wear these like champions, Olympians wear these for championships, they wear these for training. They're a hard shoe, they're a professional shoe. They're not for CrossFit WODs, I don't think. I wouldn't even try to wear them for them. Tell me if you do, if you like it. But that's not my experience with them. They're not made for that. So if we look at the differences between the shoes, you'll notice that these hybrid lifters are, they're pretty low on the kind of sole scale. Lifters are typically, they have a higher sole to help you squat better, to help you catch a big lift. But these are a little bit more kind of even, because you need to be able to do CrossFit with them. And so you need to be able to do box jumps, and so they're very bendy. And what it says here on the side is that they have a U-form sole. So this sole, I think you can heat up. I've never tried it, but it basically forms to your foot. The problem with this sole that I've heard, it hasn't really happened to me, but I've heard it happens to others, is that it gets too soft, or you like slide around in it. And I do slide around in these shoes a little bit, and then they just get really used because your foot just kind of moves around. Or maybe it's because I haven't formed them. I'm not sure about that. I'm not, don't quote me on it, but I think the sole has something to do with the fact that these shoes aren't typically used for only lifting. And also they're a beginner shoe. They're a very good beginner shoe though. I've had 2 pairs of these and I love them until I tried other shoes. Speaking of soles, the Nike has 2 soles actually. I don't have the other ones that are in my gym bag. But I like training with the competition sole because I am a hardcore beat up my feet kind of lifter. The competition soles are very, very hard. You can like smash them on the floor and you'll hear a noise. They're hard, they're made for catching very heavy lifts, for doing PRs, and they have another just training sole. But what I noticed is that the training sole is a lot thinner, so the shoes are too big if I train with the training sole. So I've decided to just go competition sole. I may wreck my feet, I don't know. But I feel like they're just a lot firmer and they're a lot funner to train with when you have the competition sole on. And I know a few people who just use competition sole only. Like they won't even go for the training sole, it's just too soft for them. And we were talking about the heel earlier. You can see that this heel is a lot more serious. It's got a lot more cushioning, I think, or absorption, I guess you would call it, shock absorption. Even under, you can see, and it's higher. It's a higher heel. So these are made for lifting, definitely. Also, the other part that's probably made for lifting more is the fact that they're heavier. So you get probably a little bit of physics around that. I don't know how that works, but your feet are heavy. It probably gives you a lot more strength against the bar. That's my theory. I am not a scientist. They are heavier though if you're not used to wearing lifting shoes and you might feel like they're too heavy, your feet don't move fast enough, but once you're strong enough, once you're a very advanced lifter, you don't care if your feet are heavy, you're gonna move them anyway. Another thing about the shoe that makes it more professional, I think, is the fact that it's higher on your ankle. Some people, maybe physiologically, they're not made to have such high shoes. I know that some people prefer ankle support. My mom prefers ankle support. I do too because I have really flexible ankles and I like that it holds me a little bit more. But some people, I think it would probably rub for them, although this is a feature that I really like. Oh, and another thing that I've noticed that might not be for everyone is the fact that the soles, I don't know if you can tell, but they're very grippy. They're like sticky. So when I started using them, I would get like, if I tried to do a jerk especially, like I would like stop myself and like trip over myself because I wasn't used to this kind of grippiness. Like really, it's maybe they'll wear off, maybe like after a while they won't be so grippy, but it was something that really surprised me. But I guess if you're doing like a really heavy lift and you really don't want to fall on your face, this is probably the way to go. As opposed to these lifters who like have a very soft, very brushed kind of sole, especially on this part. This part is a little grippy, but I've always found them to be a little slippery. So like I said earlier, if you go for the Nikes, they are heavier, they are a tougher shoe, and they will beat up your feet. I found that I'm typically someone who beats up their feet lifting, and I have to roll them with the lacrosse ball, but since I've been using my new Nike lifters, I've been kind of really careful about, you know, taking care of my feet because I noticed that they're really getting beat up. And it's not a bad thing, and it's probably because I'm using the competition sole, but again, it's a thing. If you have sensitive feet or if your feet are not very strong, you're gonna notice a big difference between the two shoes. Now let's talk about the uses for both shoes. I know I've talked about it a little bit. These lifters are for WODs, definitely. You can do weightlifting with them. I've done years of weightlifting with them, well, years, like 2 years. They were my first weightlifting shoe. The first ones I had were pink. I don't know where I put them. They're probably under my gym bag somewhere. But they are a very good transition shoe if you're a pure CrossFitter. If you're not used to weightlifting, if you want to get started and you're a little scared because you've never worn, you know, these really hard shoes and you don't want to make any noise with your feet, these are good shoes for that. These are good shoes to transition you slowly but surely and make you comfortable with the movements. And they're not too hard, so you're not going to feel constricted, and, you know, they feel kind of like you're wearing a running shoe, but not really, instead of the other ones feeling completely different. So if you're starting out, I highly suggest these. I've had 2 pairs and I've loved them very much. If you want to give a gift to someone who is a CrossFitter and needs lifting shoes, definitely buy them these. I think Reebok is coming up with a new lifter very, very soon, December-ish, so it's probably a good Christmas present idea. Some people have told me that they run in these. I've never run in these. I feel like they're so uncomfortable to run in, but then again, I have really sensitive feet, so if your feet are not sensitive, fucking go ahead. Now the use for these, obviously Nike Romaleos, I don't know how to say them. They're a weightlifting shoe. You're not going to want to wear them to do a WOD, you're not going to want to wear them to wait for the bus, although I've seen someone wear lifters once waiting for the bus. I was baffled. But these are definitely for weightlifting, for the more experienced lifter, or even maybe starting out. You know, it's a good thing to have if you have that kind of money, because they are a lot pricier. But I compare it to kind of having, you know, you have your basic kitchen things when you move out of your parents, let's say. You move into an apartment, you get like a basic toaster, you get a basic microwave, basic knives, and then once you start knowing what you're doing in the kitchen and knowing what you can do and getting more kind of skills, you're gonna buy some more expensive things. You're gonna buy some better tools so that you can do your job better. That's how I feel about these shoes. These were the graduation shoes. After I've done lifting for a while, after I've started feeling comfortable with my lifting, I bought these shoes. So now these are my babies, these are my tools, my beautiful, beautiful lifting tools. And so I would say wait till you're a little bit advanced to wear these, just because they're gonna feel really foreign. So I hope this video helps you figure out which shoe you want, or even just knowing about the differences between the two, if you're afraid of asking your friends who own them, or maybe you don't know anyone who owns them. But I highly suggest, if you've taken up weightlifting, or if you're just starting out in CrossFit and you are probably going to do a lot of weightlifting, look into getting some of these shoes. They're really just a best tool for you to learn with and to lift heavy shit with. It's just so fun. Let me know in the comments if you like this video and if you would like more videos like this. It always helps me to know what you guys are thinking and if you're actually enjoying my stuff or not. And if you are enjoying it, make sure you give me a thumbs up on the YouTube things. And yeah, take care of yourselves. I will see you next week. Bye.
Oh, this you crazy mother.